Today we go over Star Wars Episode 9, the final film of the Skywalker saga. This is Mike Zero here. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, as you all know, Episode 9 being the final film of the sequel trilogy, J.J. Abrams, at least in my point of view, really has to knock it out of the park in order to satisfy a majority of the Star Wars fans around the world. You know, ever since of what happened with The Last Jedi and the backlash it received by the decisions that Rian Johnson implemented in the film, and also the decisions that Kathleen Kennedy, the president of Lucasfilm, approved. So, looking forward, we do know that Kathleen Kennedy is a part of this film, but she won't be involved in the creative side of things, which is a great thing, only the business side. So, the only thing that she will be involved in is, of course, the marketing, etc. So, these past couple of weeks, we've been learning a whole lot more about Episode 9. We do know that they are looking over in Jordan as a possible filming location, etc. We've been going over all of the different concept art descriptions, one of which has all to do with the younger Supreme Leader Snoke, which could very well indicate that J.J. Abrams is trying to bring back flashbacks into this movie, one of which has a young Snoke without his scars in a black robe, standing in front of a young boy in white clothing with black hair, presumably Ben Solo / Kylo Ren. Snoke's hand touching the boy's shoulder behind Snoke stands an obscured figure. So this is the one thing, alright, that I do want to bring up, is that the whole concept of flashbacks, they're great to use as a tool in order to fill in the gaps in between the original trilogy and the sequel trilogy. However, I know a lot of you guys out there as well disagree with the concept of flashbacks in Star Wars. Now, do keep in mind that this all started by J.J. Abrams. He is the man who brought this on the table, and Rian Johnson adopted it in a totally different way in The Last Jedi, and now JJ, it seems like he's bringing back that concept in the final film of the sequel trilogy. Now, if the whole entire storyline of Snoke does come into fruition for Episode 9, I think that this will be great. We have heard from the Weekly Planet a couple of weeks ago that Disney and Lucasfilm are toying around with the idea of making Snoke Plagueis, which to me would be the perfect way of J.J. Abrams' big plan of implementing prequel trilogy content into this film. But as far as a younger Snoke goes, you know, interacting with a young boy, there's no confirmation on if this concept art and its description of it have all to do with Ben Solo, but my guess is, of course, that it must be. The boy is in white clothing and he's got black hair. It's just gotta be Ben Solo. I think that this is honestly a Force Bond sequence, and I wouldn't be too surprised if both Snoke and Ben Solo were talking to each other face to face across space, you know, for years on end, until eventually when Ben Solo was confronted by his uncle with that lightsaber when he ignited it in the movie in The Last Jedi. That was pretty much the final straw for Ben to turn and go to the dark side and pretty much side himself with Supreme Leader Snoke and be a part of the First Order and ultimately become Kylo Ren. Again, there's a lot of story that, you know, there is to tell. There's a lot of stories to tell between the original trilogy and the sequel trilogy. And this is something that I think a lot of people have been requesting, either in the form of like a novel called like Ben Solo, where you do get to learn about everything and every little detail from when he was born leading up into his teens, in which he turned to the dark side. So, looking at everything with Supreme Leader Snoke, he's one of my favorite characters in the sequels. I don't know if you guys agree, but we've been hearing a lot about Ed Harris quite possibly playing a younger Snoke in this film. I'm not quite sure if they actually, you know, closed the deal on that and actually got him on board, but if he is on board, I gotta say, he is a grade A actor. I love him in Westworld. I love him in the movie The Rock. I mean, the list goes on. Ed Harris just really is a talent. He is by far one of the best actors ever. So, if they are to get Ed Harris as a younger Supreme Leader Snoke, as we have been hearing that there have been discussions here and there, I think that that would be excellent. Now, we do know that Episode 9 will be using a lot of de-aging technology on certain actors and actresses, which could very well indicate that some of our beloved characters, such as Luke Skywalker, and yes, even Snoke, may very well have flashback scenes. We do know that Mark Hamill shaved off his beard not too long ago, however he grew it back, so we're not really quite sure of what's happening with Luke, but looking at Kylo Ren and Supreme Leader Snoke, I'm just so excited to learn more about these two characters, whether this comes into fruition in the actual movie, or in the novelization, or in a future novel. I'm all up for it. But anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Gun in hand, we are alone again. No hiding from night to moon.